What's going on, guys? So we have a new series, TMNT Journeys. And from what I've gathered, this is kind of a continuation off of the main series started back in the 80s. And I'll give examples as to why that is likely the case. So I might be wrong, but I really don't think that I am. So here we have a Peter Laird cover, and I really have a hard time picking whether I like Eastman or Laird's art more. I know I'm kind of bitching out by not picking one, but I really just like what each one of them brings to it. And we have all four here, and everything looks great. I love the original creator's work here. So let's just get right on into it. We are on issue 1. So even though I think that this is a continuation, I think people new to the Turtles should be pretty good about getting into this. Might be lost in a few areas, but I think they should be able to catch up. So, and then we have all four brothers here sitting there. I really like the older style where like they even have like the tails and all that, really defined arches in the feet. I really like all that. All right, so we open up, we're on the moon, and we got somebody hopping around, just checking stuff out. Just kind of talking and reminiscing about the moon. And now we're not giving a name to this person, but it looks an awful lot like Honeycutt. I guess I say awful lot like him, but it's like a bulkier version of Honeycutt is what it looks like. Now, I don't know for certain if it is, and I'll give my reasons as to why I kind of think it's Honeycutt. If he's ever been like this before, I am not familiar with it. It's been a minute since I last read the original run, and being that I'm on the 2011 run, as well as the current 2024 run, I'm trying not to mix up too much here. So I do plan, once I finish the 2011 run, go back through the original. It's been a little bit since I've read it, and I'd like to revisit. But he's hopping around, and he makes his way to the original moon landing, and more or less what he's doing is just kind of he's admiring the tenacity of like the original astronauts and what they were able to accomplish with such little technology and things like that. And he's wanting to kind of look a little bit, but he does get called back, and so he has to make his way back to another figure here. So getting out of here, and he's making his way, and we see an Utrum here, and this Utrum seems to be like a follower of who I believe is Honeycutt, but I'm not 100% certain, because the Utrum is referring to this individual as Sir, and our Honeycutt looking individual is like, well, I assume that things are ready for the separation, all that's complete. And it's like, not quite, we just need you to kind of go over some stuff. And he's like, don't worry about it. I trust you, and your technicians got it all under control, as we see that they have like a base going on here on the moon, and a lot of stuff going on here. Now, you can just make out these little dots here on the camera. Those seem to be individuals, and they are very small compared to everything going here. So this is a very large base that they got going. And so I'm kind of like, okay, what's going on? They also our Utrum over here also makes note of like their guests, who I'm not sure if they're necessarily guests as opposed to just prisoners, because he's like, well, they're not taking too kindly to being confined, but they're excited about what's coming next. And they're talking about like Earthlings down here, and this is another reason why I kind of feel like this might be Honeycutt. Because he's talking about how he's met some Earthlings, but they weren't exactly human. And so we know that Honeycutt's, had run-ins with the turtles, of course, and then he also has dealings with the Utrams themselves and all that thing. So that's part of why I think this might be Honeycut and just like a bulkier version than what we're accustomed to seeing. So now we're done with the moon for at least now, and we cut over. We have Leonardo, and he's given kind of an introduction to everybody here as to like what his brothers are. That that they're cornered in the alleyway by the let me get this name right, the Manhattan Militia. So this is a new gang, kind of like the Purple Dragons and stuff like that. And he's just kind of telling the audience about who's who as far as all this. So anybody who is not familiar with the Turtles, you're getting your introduction page here. Meanwhile, one of the militia guys is calling them aliens and stuff like that. He's like, he's wrong. We're not aliens. And then we get kind of a, big old Ninja Turtle spread here with the big old title. And this kind of reminded me a little bit of like the second movie in particular, where they're coming down the stairs to help Kino, and then they do that jump, and then it cuts to the title. Kind of reminded me a little bit of that, right? Everybody's sitting here, they're poised, they're ready to fight, and then you get that big old opening, and then next, and teenage might not be the name to go with in this case. I mean, yeah, it's still the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but still. I'll explain more on that here in a second. But yeah, then they go on and they're fighting these militia guys, and here's where I'm starting to have a little bit of problems. Now this kind of does tend to be a comic book thing, all in all, but here we have a militia guy, and he's stating that they're too fast to really get a target in on him. Now, he's shooting what looks to be an Uzi, and that is an automatic weapon. At least what I'm assuming he's shooting. Now, they do have semi-auto versions, but we're not talking about that right now. I do believe he's got an automatic version, especially on some of the shots that we'll see later. There seems to be some rapid fire. Now, the Turtles, yeah, they're quick, because they have increased strength and all that. They're fast. I don't think that they're too fast to outrun somebody firing an automatic weapon. So what I'm getting at is there seems to be a lot of plot armor for our Turtles, and I guess the only thing I would do to kind of change this is make smaller rounds. Like an Uzi fires a 9mm. Maybe just make it to where like the shells of the Turtles can take the impact of a 9mm, no problem. You see that with bigger animals like bears and things like that. Small caliber weapons don't do a whole lot. Maybe just kind of irritate and piss them off. Something to that effect, I think, would play a lot better, because this does kind of start to stand out to me that everybody is just having nothing but gun trouble. So he can't seem to hit a turtle with his Uzi. They get taken out and all that. Good stuff here. Now this guy's got Leonardo dead to rights. Click. Oh, it's jammed. How convenient. Again, plot armor. And so Leonardo, the guy jumps on Leonardo with his scarf, tries to take him out that way. That doesn't work, obviously. Leonardo recovers, and they're getting surrounded, so Leo's like, okay, guys, let's head to the rooftops. And so they're heading to the rooftops, and everybody's going. Raph has a slight... he doesn't really want to do it, so he's protesting a little bit, but he ultimately decides to go with him. And again, guy doesn't look to be in too far range here. It's a little harder to see here, but he's firing a gun. He's right here. Turtle that he's aiming at's here, and he's shooting over here. Okay. Can't seem to shoot for shit. Now he's down here. He's hitting the bars. Now, it's all bars on the scaffolding here, and not a single one makes it through. Maybe tagging a guy, nicking him, anything, nothing. So there's a lot of, like I said, plot armor when it comes to this. They get into the building. It's like an abandoned building. They catch a breather, And remember how I said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles might be not the correct term at this point because they are not teenagers. He's remarking about how this felt a little easier 15 years ago. So I believe at the time when they first came out, I think they were about 15 or 16 years old. So they're about 30 years old at this point. And I'm like, okay, what are you gonna do? Change the name to like middle-aged Ninja Turtle? No, sorry, that doesn't work. We're gonna stick with TMNT. But yeah, so that's part of what leads me to believe we are continuing from the original series. Not just simply the art style of Peter Laird, but the fact that we're reflecting on 15 years of them doing this. And I'll continue more as to why I think this is also more from the original and not from any other run here in a little bit. So they make their way through, get back onto the rooftops, and everything looks okay until it's not. Now we have snowmobiles on the roof, and I had to take a moment and go, how did they get those snowmobiles up there? And I couldn't help but just think about all these militia guys like trying to like work these up a flight of stairs and going through all the corners and having to like pivot like they were all moving a series of heavy ass couches, and it just really cracked me up. I'm like, oh, well, they're also pretty effective at it because they got up here relatively quick. But anywho, they're going around, they're fighting, still can't shoot for shit. We'll see that a couple of times here. So we have them getting flipped out of there. Having this guy over down here, let me get this better in frame, shooting at, I believe that this is Raph. And yeah, he's, again, should be able to hit him. And he looks like he's got his Uzi too. And gets kicked in the face for his trouble. Another snowmobile gets flipped out. I mean, they're just whooping everybody. Oh, right here is where our guy gets kicked. Donnie's grabbing like a big old antenna, helps ramp another. And again, automatic weapon. And this is like blip, 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 missing. Donnie does remark that making it on the snowmobile makes it a little bit more difficult to shoot. Now, I might grant that one a little bit more there, but it's just like a common running theme is like all these guns are just extremely ineffective, where the shells protect them a lot more, and so it would just be a little bit like, okay, 9mm, sure, that can be absorbed through a shell, no problem, no damage done to our guys. That just has a little bit more believability as opposed to everybody just simply missing nonstop. And maybe we're just kind of paying tribute to like old 80s action movies where the bad guys couldn't shoot for shit in those. It doesn't really break my immersion, but it does stand out when I'm just kind of observing everything that's going on here. Same with like the snowmobiles. Like I just had to kind of stop and stare and go, how the hell did they get up there? Because these are like skyscrapers. What the hell are they doing? Okay, so Donnie flips that by using a little bit of leverage with that antenna, and then they all get off the rooftops again. Just not necessarily trying to like beat everybody because they are severely outnumbered and outgunned. Even though our bad guys can't shoot for shit, they might get lucky one day. Donnie lands right next to one of the snowmobiles and decides to go ahead and take off. Mikey over here, he's wanting to catch a ride too. Tries to flag down Donnie, but Donnie's already way out in the distance, and Mikey slips in like the snow and ice on the road. Tries to get up real quick, but ends up getting clipped by a bus that comes by and thrown into a car, where he's at least in a daze, kind of in and out of consciousness, and we see a figure kind of emerge from the dark and pick him up, carry him into an alley, and he calls himself Magnarok and tells whoever he's talking to that he needs a pickup, and that's where we leave Mikey. We then see what's up with Donnie. Donnie's going through a subway in this, and now he's having a hell of a time controlling the snowmobile at this point because there's no snow in the subway. So he's just like, man, this thing steers like shit. And makes his way. He's hitting all these areas. Is starting to damage it. Catches fire. He gets off of it just in time for it to blow up. And a little bit of convenience here. So where it blows up, he goes and looks. Blows a hole through a wall. That lets him see this armored like bank truck sitting there. And that's where we leave off with Donnie. So I'm like, okay, interesting. A little convenient that his snowmobile was able to blow a hole in that area that leads him to this. Okay, fine. Convenient, sure. We'll go with it, though. Meanwhile, we're going to catch up with Casey and April, and we find that they are married. He refers to her as Mrs. Jones. And they're on their way to a doctor's appointment because I believe that they're trying to find out whether April is carrying their child. I think it is trying to confirm that she is in fact pregnant. Mostly this is just because she states like, not knowing's driving me crazy. He's talking about a baby situation and that they'll get some answers today. So I think it's just like a confirmation appointment. Also, this is the only full body shot we have of April because it's just this page for April and Casey. And it's a little harder to see on the camera, but if you look at it, she's not really showing any kind of a bump anywhere. So I think that this is very early on in the pregnancy where you're just trying to figure out, are you or are you not? So that's nice. But now, speaking of their children, this is why I think we have a continuation from the original series. This is Shadow Jones. This is Casey's adopted stepdaughter from his previous marriage, where his wife passed away, and he took over as guardian along with April, and she is training with this person here named Metalhead. And I had to like kind of scratch my head. I'm like, well, Metalhead's the robot turtle. So I'm missing context here, but I'm like, I don't recall like an exchange of consciousness, kind of like with Honeycutt, where he was a person who then went to a robotic body. I don't remember anything like Metalhead going from the robot turtle body to a individual. So I'm a little, this could be just for this series, so I'm just a little confused there, because obviously they would know that there is a character already in their universe named Metalhead. So I'm curious to how that one gets explained. Anywho, they're just sparring. They're just doing a little fight training. Fight's over, and Shadow is just ready to hear from Casey and April about their appointment. Splinter's also with her here, and just like, have some patience. You'll hear from them soon enough. Don't worry. And Shadow explains that she's had like a feeling something big's about to happen. That's why she's a little bit more on edge than usual. And that is where our book ends. And we have a little tribute page from Peter to Kevin Eastman over here. So that's pretty nice there. And yeah, so that is TMNT Journeys #1. I'm somewhere between like a 7 and an 8 out of 10. So I'll just bitch out and say 7.5 out of 10. And there's plenty for me to enjoy. I mean, I really like that we're kind of going back and just talking about some of the events of the older series, because I do feel like everybody just kind of dropped Shadow, and okay, fine. If you want to tell a new story like they did in 2011 and just drop her out of it, that's okay. But to, bring her back and, see what's what, okay, I'm interested. Because last time that I recall seeing her, she was just a baby. So I would put her, she's probably somewhere around 15, 16. The turtles mentioned that things were easier 15 years ago. I think she at best was like a year old. That's why I'm like, I think 15 or 16 is probably where she's at. Splinter does make mention of her being a teenager, so she's at least not in her 20s. So, pretty strong. Like I said, it's a lot of plot armor for the turtles. I would have just maybe adjusted it to where their shells, they're mutant turtles. I think we can justifiably understand that it can at least withstand small caliber arms, and maybe just not make every villain out there really shit at shooting. A little bit of convenience with Donnie finding that, but I'll roll with that one. I'm just gonna note, yeah, it's a little convenient for him to find something like that. And I'm really curious to see who this like Magnarok is. Is this friend, foe? Does it have anything to do with the people up there at the moon? Very, very interested to figure that out. So, I'm at least looking forward to reading the next one. And it's nice to see some more stuff from Peter Laird. So, definitely be on the lookout for my next review on this one. I am going to continue this series. And but that is all I have for today, guys. So until next time, take care and God bless.